Hello, mindful friends. Today we're going to be talking about releasing tension in the body and the mind. And how, even though it may sometimes feel like this tension has a being all of its own and that it's tightening all by itself in those tight places in our body where there's pain, that they just are there, or in the mind that our worries or anxieties, they're just there. The truth is that they don't appear on their own, that we actively create them, that we have to generate them for them to be there. Muscles don't just contract and stay tight by themselves. Worry doesn't just generate by itself. Something within us produces it, tells the muscle to contract, tells the muscle to hold on, or tells a story that creates the worry. So even though it may feel like you have no control over this tightness in the body's just holding on to this, it did it all by itself, it didn't. There's something in there in you that generated it. And same with like the worry, anxiety in ourselves, feels like it's its own entity, like it has its own force, keeping it tight in the mind. But the truth is that there's something being generated in us that creates that reality in the mind. And that when we're trying to release or let go, it's not a matter of fighting with it, right? Because you think about what happens when we fight. What kind of energies does that generate? It creates more tension. It creates more tightness, more resistance. So when we're thinking about releasing the tension in our body or our mind, what we really need is releasing, letting go, acceptance, compassion. And that is what kind of releases the muscles, tells them it's okay to relax, and then also releases the story in the mind, that it's okay. So as we're kind of moving towards releasing, it helps to look at, why are we tightening? Instead of saying, what do I have to do to force myself to let go, to force myself to release, and creating that extra fight, we say, I want to investigate and understand why I'm tightening. And that when we understand that, it becomes a lot easier to nurture it, to take care of it, and to let go or release that tension that we're creating. So think about that in the body, of if there's something tightening in you, like people hold tension in their shoulders, in their backs, in their hips, in their heads. Sometimes they get headaches. And what you're looking for is, what's creating that tightening in me? What's creating me? It might be like even in our posture or how we're standing, or that we never let ourselves release and relax, is it can be stories that we're not safe, that we have to get this done like now. It's pressures, it's judgment of self, that you're not good enough, and all of that, those energies create tension. So then if we apply that to the body, we're thinking, okay, body, you have to be tight to self-protect. You have to be tight so that this doesn't hurt. Or you have to be prepared and in tense mode so that you're on your feet and you're ready to get this done. And those stories, even if we don't really hear them like all the time, they could be in our subconscious, they can be what's generating the tension in our muscles, in our bodies. Tightness in the belly, that can be like worry, you have to get this done, you're not safe. So we're looking at those stories or those things that we're telling ourselves, this is why you have to stay tight. You're not safe. It's not okay. Stay tight. And instead of trying to fight that and urging the body to let go, like in frustration, we do it out of nurturing. And we want to ease ourselves back into feeling safe. That safe feelings help us to relax and release. So if we're holding tightness, we want to say, okay, how do I let my body know that it's safe? And I know for me that I tighten against pain a lot. So in my back, in that experiences, in actions or movements that I think or I anticipate will create pain, I tighten up. And that tightening ends up creating more pain because now my muscles are involved. And now they are holding that area of the body really tight, and there's no movement of blood flow, of oxygen flow, of energy flow. And so when that happens and you feel those tight muscles within you, the best thing to do is to release that fear around the pain, around the injury, or releasing that fear around that you're not safe and the body has to be prepared to like attack or go forward. If we can nurture ourselves out of that, come back to a safe place, from there, that can help the tension to relax and release naturally. So you're saying, what's making me feel like I have to tighten against this? And can I create a safe feeling or a safe environment that allows that to relax? Right? So we do that in many ways, like you can take a bath, and when you're in the bath, it feels really safe and it's warm and it's peaceful and you got a candle going, and the body says, okay, I can relax. So you're not in like putting a lot of effort into like, let go. You're just creating a safe space, creating a safe mentality, and then releasing, letting it release out of you. And you think it's the same thing in the mind. If we're holding on to a story that says we're not safe, this isn't okay, we're under threat, that tension forms in the mind and you hold on to it. It's a grasping of the story, it's a grasping of that reality. And you feel like you have to be vigilant all the time, paying attention, thinking the next step, doing the to-do list. And this creates the tension in the mind. The worry, the anxiety, the fatigue comes from that. And so same thing with what we would do with the body is we'd look, what's making me feel unsafe in my mind? What's making me feel like I'm not okay or I have to be vigilant? And instead of fighting that and saying, let go, mind, we just create a safe environment. We remind ourselves it's okay. Right here and right now, it's okay just to breathe, just to be present. I'm okay. And in that nurturing and creating the safe space, tension releases naturally without us having to fight the thing that's creating tension. As if we go into that fight mode and we say, well, I just need to battle whatever it is that's bringing this up. When you go into battle, what happens? You're more tense. Your body's more tense. Your mind is more tense. So if we want to release tension in the body and the mind, we have to come back to peace. And we need to have that understanding. What is it that's creating the resistance? What is it that's motivating me to tighten? And can I nurture that with compassion and love so that it feels safe enough to release, to let go? So that this freeing ourselves of tension has everything to do with peace and letting go of the stories or the actions or the realities that are motivating us to tense up, to tighten, to resist. So instead of a fight, it's a release and a let go. So I invite you this week, look into the tension you feel in your body and your mind and how you've been relating to it. Are you trying to fight things to make it better? And is that really working? Or can you understand the story around it, why it's fearful for you, why it's generating tension, and give it some nurturing and love? If you enjoy these talks and would like to join us for a group session or individual coaching, you can find us at newleafmindfulness.com. If you have comments or ideas for topics, you can write them below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.